Sometimes, moving on isn't loud. It doesn't always come with block numbers, deleted photos, or dramatic goodbyes. Sometimes it's quiet. It's hidden in everyday moments, in late-night thoughts, in small habits that never really go away. And while some people seem to walk away without looking back, others stay emotionally stuck. Long after the last message is sent, long after the last goodbye is spoken, you might think he's over you. He doesn't call. He doesn't text. Maybe he even seems like he's happy, living his life, posting stories, smiling in pictures. But beneath that surface, there might be signs, subtle signs, that he hasn't really let go. Not of you, not of what you had, and definitely not of what he still feels when he hears your name or sees a memory flash across his screen. The truth is, most men won't come out and say it. They won't admit they miss you. They won't tell their friends how often they think about you. And they certainly won't text you in the middle of the day saying, "I can't stop thinking about you." Instead, they'll do something quieter, something softer. They'll watch your stories without reacting. They'll hold on to your pictures. They'll show up in places where they know they might run into you, acting like it's a coincidence when it's anything but. These small actions, they're not random. They're not meaningless. They're emotional fingerprints, traces of a love or connection that hasn't fully faded. And if you know how to read them, they tell you a lot. Maybe he's too scared to reach out. Maybe his pride won't let him. Or maybe he doesn't even realize that everything he's doing is proof that a part of him is still stuck in the past. In this video, we're diving deep into the 15 subtle signs he can't get over you. These aren't the big, dramatic gestures. These are the quiet signs, the kind that show up in silence, in habits, and in the things he doesn't say. If you've ever wondered whether he's truly moved on, or if you still cross his mind more often than he'll ever admit, this is for you. Watch closely, because sometimes the silence says more than the words ever could. 1. He keeps watching your stories but never reacts. When a man keeps watching your stories but never reacts, it's one of the quietest, yet clearest signs he hasn't fully moved on. His silence speaks more than words ever could. He doesn't like, comment, or respond, but he watches every time. That consistent presence, that hidden curiosity, shows he's still emotionally connected, even if from a distance. He may be trying to convince himself he doesn't care, but his actions betray him. Story views aren't accidental. They require effort, intention, and a certain level of emotional investment. Every time your story pops up, he chooses to tap. And every time he taps, it's a moment where he enters your world again, silently. He may be trying to keep a sense of closeness without actually having to talk. Maybe he fears rejection. Maybe he's not ready to reopen a conversation. Or maybe, deep down, he's hoping you'll notice he's still watching, still there. It's his way of staying visible without being vulnerable. He gets to know what's going on in your life without asking directly, because watching a story requires no courage, just curiosity. But the consistency of it reveals more than he might admit, even to himself. People who have moved on don't linger in your digital shadow. They disconnect. They mute. They move forward. But someone who's emotionally stuck will hover quietly, hoping you notice. His silent views are his way of staying close without crossing a line. He might be fighting his own feelings, not wanting to give you the satisfaction of knowing he still cares, yet proving it with every watch. It's not always about missing you openly. Sometimes it's about not being able to let go silently. And watching your stories, that's exactly what that is. 2. He brings you up in random conversations. When a man brings you up in random conversations, it's a sign that you're still living rent-free in his mind. Even if he's trying to act casual or indifferent, Your name slipping into conversations shows he hasn't emotionally detached. It could be while he's with friends, during a joke, or even in serious talks. He'll find a way to mention you, intentionally or not. That's because thoughts of you are sitting just beneath the surface, waiting for a chance to rise. When someone has truly moved on, your name fades from their vocabulary. But when he can't get over you, he starts weaving you into his world again through words. Sometimes it's not obvious. He might mention a memory involving you, a place you went together, or something you liked. These may seem like harmless throwbacks, but they're emotional breadcrumbs. They reveal his subconscious need to hold on to what you two had. In some cases, he doesn't even realize he's doing it. The connection is so strong in his mind that referencing you feels natural. Other times, he does it deliberately because he wants to see how people react or because he's testing how it feels to talk about you again. It's his quiet way of keeping you relevant, of refusing to erase you from his current reality. No matter how random the conversation is, if your name keeps appearing, it's not random at all. It's emotional residue, what's left when feelings don't fully leave. He may not message you, he may not say he misses you, but if he's bringing you up when there's no reason to, his heart is still holding on. He's not over you, he's just trying to talk around the truth. 3. He still keeps your pictures saved. When a man still keeps your pictures saved, even after the relationship has ended or the connection has faded, it's a quiet but powerful indicator that he hasn't fully let go. In a world where deleting photos has become a symbol of moving on, choosing to keep them tells a different story. Those pictures aren't just images, they're emotional bookmarks. They capture moments, feelings, and versions of you and him that he's not ready to erase. Whether they're on his phone, hidden in a folder, or buried in the gallery he never opens in front of others, their presence means something deeper. Keeping your pictures isn't always about looking at them every day. Sometimes it's about not being able to hit delete, because doing so would feel like accepting the end. It's his way of preserving what was, perhaps because he misses it, perhaps because he secretly hopes for a return. Photos are the closest thing to time travel we have. They bring back smells, sounds, emotions, and people. So when he keeps yours, it's because a part of him is still emotionally tied to that time with you. He might justify it to himself. They're just memories, or what's the harm? But deep down, the refusal to remove those pieces of the past signals that the past still matters. People don't hold on to what they've fully healed from. They hold on when something still aches, when something still lingers. So while he may act like he's moved on, his photo gallery tells a quieter, more honest truth. He hasn't. Shafor. Your profile from fake accounts. When a man checks your profile from fake accounts, it reveals a lot more than he wants you to know. It's not just curiosity, it's hidden attachment, quiet obsession, and often unresolved feelings. If he's going out of his way to view your online life without using his real identity, it means two things. First, he still wants to know what's going on with you, and second, he doesn't want you to know that he does. That secrecy speaks volumes. He's trying to stay connected to your world without risking his pride, ego, or vulnerability. Using fake accounts is not something people do casually. It takes effort, it's intentional, which means he's making a conscious choice to stay in your shadow. Maybe you blocked him, or maybe he doesn't want to seem desperate by viewing your stories or posts from his real account. But make no mistake, if he's still trying to find digital access to your life, he hasn't emotionally disconnected. This behavior often comes from a place of emotional conflict. He might miss you, but be too stubborn to admit it. He might still care, but is too hurt to talk. So instead of reaching out, he watches silently, secretly. It's like standing outside a window instead of knocking on the door. He wants to see if you're happy, who you're with, what you're posting, while keeping himself hidden in the background. People who are over someone don't create fake ways to stay updated. They move forward, not around in circles. So if he's creating new accounts, watching from anonymous pages, or stalking through friends' profiles, it's clear he hasn't let go. He's just pretending to from a distance. 5. He remembers small details you forgot. When a man remembers small details you forgot, it's a quiet but undeniable sign that he still holds on to you emotionally. These aren't just random facts. These are the tiny pieces of you that stayed in his memory long after you thought they'd fade. Maybe it's the way you take your coffee, a story you told him once in passing, or your favourite song from years ago. Things that even you don't recall mentioning become vivid in his mind because they mattered to him in ways you didn't see. Memory is selective. We don't store everything. We remember what we care about. So when he recalls the little things, it means he was genuinely paying attention when you spoke. It wasn't just hearing you, it was absorbing you. And the fact that those details are still alive in his head shows that emotionally you still take up space there. He might bring up something random you once laughed at, or mention a specific date you forgot was important. He may not say it directly, but every time he remembers what you forgot, it's like he's quietly proving that you were never just another person to him. You were significant, and every memory of you is like a string pulling him back. These small recollections reveal a bigger truth. He hasn't let go. He may act distant. He may pretend everything is in the past, but his memory says otherwise. Because when someone holds on to the fragments of you that you no longer even think about, it means you're still a part of their inner world. Not in the past tense, but in the present. Quietly, deeply, and maybe permanently. 6. He stalks your profile from fake accounts. When a man stalks your profile from fake accounts, it's a clear sign that he's still emotionally invested, but too conflicted or prideful to show it openly. This behavior isn't casual. It takes time, effort, and intention. He's not just checking in once or twice. He's deliberately creating distance while trying to stay close. It shows he wants to see what you're doing, who you're with, and how you're living without having to expose his own vulnerability. This digital hiding says more than any words could. It means he still thinks about you, enough to go out of his way just to see your face or read your thoughts. But it also means he's afraid of how you'll react if you knew, afraid of appearing weak, obsessed, or still in love. So instead of reaching out directly, he watches from the shadows. That silence, paired with effort, is a strange but honest confession. I still care, but I don't want you to know. There may be guilt, hurt, or unfinished business driving this secret attention. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain, he hasn't moved on. People who have truly let go don't keep checking in, especially not from behind fake profiles. They don't create secret paths to revisit the past. They cut the cord and move forward. But someone who can't stop looking, even if it's through hidden accounts, is someone who's still emotionally stuck. At its core, this act isn't about control or games. It's about longing, loss, and fear. The longing to stay connected, the fear of being forgotten, the inability to fully let go. And so he watches silently, hoping you never find out, but wishing, deep down, that you do. 7. He still checks in on your family or friends. When a man still checks in on your family or friends, it's a deeply telling sign that he hasn't fully detached from you. Staying connected to the people around you isn't just about politeness or coincidence. It's about keeping a piece of you close. Even if you two no longer talk, his interest in your circle means he still cares about your world. Whether he asks how your mum is doing, checks on your younger brother, or casually reaches out to your best friend, those actions aren't random. They're intentional and they're emotional. He may frame it as being friendly or just checking in, but underneath that surface is something more personal. These connections are his invisible thread back to you. He may not have the courage to talk to you directly, but by asking about your loved ones, he keeps your presence alive in his routine. It's a safe way to stay close without confronting the reality of missing you. Every time he asks about your family, he's really asking about you, how you're doing, if you're okay, if you've moved on. Often, people think moving on means cutting off contact, but when someone holds on to your people, they're holding on to a part of you. It's not about the relationships with your family. It's about the memory, the connection, and the comfort that came with knowing them because of you. And if he's still checking in, it's because those memories still mean something. This quiet presence in your circle may seem harmless, even mature, but emotionally, it speaks volumes. He hasn't shut the door. He's standing near it, waiting, wondering, and hoping, using the people around you as windows back into your life. 8. He laughs at your old inside jokes. When a man still laughs at your old inside jokes, even long after things have ended or drifted apart, it's a quiet echo of the connection that once existed. Inside jokes aren't just funny lines. They're shared memories wrapped in laughter. They belong to a time when you both understood each other in a way that outsiders couldn't. So when he still smiles, chuckles, or brings up those private moments, it's because a part of him is still emotionally tied to that time and to you. Laughter is one of the most powerful emotional anchors. We remember how people made us feel, especially when they made us laugh. So if he's revisiting those old moments, even in his head, or casually mentioning them to others, it means he's still carrying the warmth and comfort of what you once shared. It's his way of reliving a bond he's not ready to forget. Sometimes it happens unconsciously. Something reminds him of you, and he can't help but smile. Other times he may deliberately bring it up just to feel close to you again, even if you're not around. People who have truly moved on don't carry around the emotional weight of inside jokes. They may forget them or let them fade with time, but someone who still laughs at them is holding on, not to the joke itself, but to the version of you that made him feel seen, connected, and happy. It's not just about humor. It's about memory, meaning, and the quiet ache of something that once felt right. So when he laughs, it's more than just a joke. It's proof that you're still with him, somewhere in his heart, even if everything else has changed. 9. He avoids talking about his new relationships. When a man avoids talking about his new relationships, especially around you or mutual friends, it's a subtle but powerful sign that he hasn't emotionally moved on. Silence in this area often speaks louder than words. If he were truly happy, content, or fully invested in someone new, he wouldn't feel the need to hide it. But when he becomes vague, changes the subject, or deflects whenever his current relationship comes up, it usually means there's still a lingering connection to the past. You. Avoiding the topic isn't always about protecting his new partner's privacy. More often, it's about protecting his own emotions. Talking about someone new might make him feel guilty, conflicted, or even disloyal, not necessarily to the person he's with, but to the feelings he still has for you. He may fear judgment, or he may fear that bringing up someone else will force him to confront the fact that he's not really over what you two had. Sometimes it's also a subtle test. By not mentioning his current relationship, he might be leaving a door open, curious if you'll ask, if you'll care, if you still feel something. It's a quiet hope that you'll notice the gap and read between the lines. Because deep down, he knows that talking openly about someone new could send a final message that he's really moved on. And maybe he's not ready to send that message, not to you, and maybe not even to himself. So he stays silent, not because there's nothing to say, but because there's too much he's not ready to feel. And in that silence, he reveals the truth. A part of him is still stuck in the story that once included you. 10. He randomly texts you late at night. When a man randomly texts you late at night, it's rarely about something casual. It's almost always emotional. Those late hours are when the world gets quiet, distractions fade, and the mind starts to wander. That's when truth rises to the surface, when the feelings he's buried all day come rushing back. If he's reaching out to you during that time, it means you're still sitting somewhere in his heart and in his thoughts when he's most honest with himself. Nighttime texts aren't just random, they're intimate. They carry more weight because they come when there's no audience, no noise, and no pressure to pretend. It's the most vulnerable hour, and if he's thinking of you then, it means you're part of what brings him comfort, curiosity, or confusion. Whether it's a simple, hey, a memory he just remembered, or something that sounds completely meaningless, it's not. He chose you in that moment, and that says everything. This kind of behavior often reflects inner conflict. Maybe he misses you, but doesn't want to admit it. Maybe he's lonely, but only feels it fully at night. Or maybe he's trying to keep the door open without fully stepping through it. These texts might not lead anywhere, and he might act distant the next day. But in that moment, his heart was louder than his pride. Someone who's over you won't keep showing up in your inbox at 1 a.m. for no reason. That kind of timing isn't accidental, it's emotional. And no matter how casual the words seem, the message behind them is clear. He still feels something. And when the world goes quiet, it's you he reaches for. 11. He still wears things you gifted him. When a man still wears things you gifted him, it's a quiet yet deeply emotional sign that he hasn't fully let go. Clothes, bracelets, watches, these aren't just objects. When they come from someone who meant something, they carry memory, energy, and sentiment. Every time he puts that item on, whether he admits it or not, he's wrapping himself in a piece of you. It's a form of emotional attachment that speaks without needing words. He may say it's just comfortable. He might claim he doesn't even think about it. But the truth is, we often get rid of things when we want to move forward, especially things tied to love or heartbreak. So when he holds on to what you gave him, and more importantly, continues to wear it, it means he's holding on to what you once meant to him. There's comfort in those objects, a sense of familiarity, and maybe even a hope that some part of you is still close. Sometimes, wearing what you gave him is his way of staying emotionally connected to you without having to speak. It could be a hoodie he won't throw away, a chain he never takes off, or a scent he wears because you once said you liked it. These little choices are his way of revisiting your presence, without needing permission. Even if he's in a new chapter of life, those old things are pieces of a story he's not ready to close. Not yet. And maybe, deep down, he hopes you'll notice. Maybe it's his quiet way of saying, you still matter. Because people don't wear memories by accident. They wear them when they still mean something. 12. He asks others if you're seeing someone. When a man asks others if you're seeing someone, it's a clear sign he's not over you, even if he's pretending to be. He may not have the courage to ask you directly, or he may be trying to protect his pride, but his curiosity finds a way to speak. That question, simple on the surface, is driven by something deeper, a mix of hope, jealousy, fear, and longing. He wants to know if there's still a place for him in your life, or if someone else has taken what he used to have. By going through friends or mutual connections, he creates emotional distance while still getting the information he craves. It gives him the illusion of control, like he's staying low-key, like it's just a question. But questions like that don't come from nowhere. They come from a place of unresolved emotion. If he truly didn't care anymore, your love life wouldn't be any of his business. He'd be indifferent, but he's not. He wants to know, maybe to compare, maybe to reassure himself, or maybe just to confirm his biggest fear, that you've moved on without him. This kind of curiosity isn't casual, it's emotional surveillance. It means he's still emotionally tied to you, still measuring his worth or chances against whoever might be in your life now. And sometimes he's not even looking for facts. He's looking for hope. A part of him is waiting to hear that you're still single, still missing him, still open to what was. So when he asks others if you're seeing someone, it's not just interest, it's a quiet confession. He's still watching from a distance, still wondering what could have been, and maybe still wishing for a second chance. 13. He posts things just to get your attention. When a man starts posting things just to get your attention, it's a quiet, calculated move that reveals more than he'll ever say out loud. It could be a specific song lyric, a throwback photo, a vague caption, or something that mirrors your interests, moods, or memories. On the surface, it might look like just another post, but if you pay attention, the timing, the tone, and the pattern all point in one direction. He's thinking of you and hoping you'll notice. This behavior isn't about sharing life updates. It's about control, emotion, and visibility. He wants to be seen by you without having to speak to you. It's his way of stepping into your space without knocking on your door. And it's not random. He knows what he's doing. Every song that reminds you of your song, every quote that hits too close to the past, every story that feels just a little too familiar. Those are emotional nudges, quiet taps on your shoulder saying, "I'm still here." He may not like your posts, he may not text you anymore, but he's still performing for your eyes. Even if the world sees it too, his real audience is you. This subtle form of communication allows him to stay relevant in your mind while protecting his pride. He gets to feel connected to you without risking rejection or awkwardness. But at the core of it, this isn't just about social media, it's about emotion he hasn't resolved, and attention he still wants from the person who once knew him best. So when he starts posting things that feel like they're meant for you, they probably are. Because someone who's over you doesn't send silent signals, but someone who still cares. They find ways to be heard, without saying a word. 14. He never deletes your chat, even after months. When a man never deletes your chat, even after months of silence or distance, it's a powerful sign that he's still emotionally holding on. In the digital age, keeping a conversation thread isn't just about storage, it's about sentiment. That chat holds memories, laughter, fights, love, and moments he may read again when no one is watching. It's a timeline of what once was, and letting go of it feels too final, too painful, too real. For some, deleting a chat is symbolic. It's closure. It's a way to say, this chapter is over. But when he can't bring himself to delete your messages, it shows he's not ready to let that chapter end. He might scroll through the old texts when he's alone. He might read your last words and wonder what would have happened if things had gone differently. The silence between you may be loud, but that chat sitting there, untouched, unread, but never erased, is his way of keeping the connection alive, even if it's just in his own head. Sometimes, it's not even about the hope of starting again. It's about the fear of forgetting. Those messages are a record of how he felt, what he said, and how you made him feel. They're the only thing left of something that once mattered deeply to him. Deleting them would mean accepting that it's truly over, and he may not be ready for that. So while he may act like he's moved on, laugh with others, post new things, or even be with someone else, his phone quietly holds the truth. If your chat is still there, untouched but present, then so are you, in some small, hidden, and undeniable part of his heart. He still shows up at places you might be. When a man still shows up at places you might be, it's not just coincidence, it's a quiet act of longing wrapped in denial. He may never admit it, but his presence in the places you frequent is intentional. Whether it's the cafe you used to visit, a mutual friend's party, or a spot you casually mentioned once, his appearance there is often driven by hope. Hope that he might see you, even if just from a distance. This behavior reveals a deep emotional attachment that hasn't faded. He's not necessarily coming to talk or confront anything. Sometimes he just wants to feel close to you without the risk of rejection. Being near your world, even without being in it, gives him a sense of connection that he's quietly craving. It's a form of emotional proximity, trying to feel your presence without crossing boundaries. He tells himself it's just a hangout, just a casual visit. But deep down, he's waiting for a glimpse, a chance encounter, a possibility. These silent efforts show that he hasn't truly moved forward. People who are over someone don't build their days around potential sightings. But when he positions himself where you might appear, it means he's not ready to let go. He might not text you, he might not follow you anymore, but his feet still find their way to the places that remind him of you. It's not always about control or manipulation. Sometimes it's just the ache of missing someone so deeply that even walking through the same air feels like relief. So when he still shows up where you are, it's not an accident. It's a silent message. I still care. I still wonder. I still remember.